Introducing new Advil Targeted Relief, the only topical pain reliever with 4 powerful pain-fighting ingredients that start working on contact to target tough pain at the source for up to 8 hours of powerful relief. New Advil Targeted Relief.
Okay.
Introducing new Advil Targeted Relief, the only topical pain reliever with 4 powerful pain-fighting ingredients that start
You're asking a lot.
to target tough pain at the source for up to 8 hours of powerful relief. New Advil Targeted Relief.
Oh, okay. At worst, you'll disappoint yourself.
Introducing new Advil Targeted Relief, the only topical pain reliever with 4 powerful pain-fighting ingredients that start
you're asking a lot.
to target tough pain at the source for up to 8 hours of powerful relief.
I'll ask the recording if I should buy the amiibo for Splatoon 3. So that's officially recorded, the question, the very important question I'm pondering right now. Because I have the hosts amiibo for both Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2. So now I'm pondering about those for free. Just to sake of completion.
Introducing new Advil Targeted Relief, the only topical pain reliever.
Yeah. Yeah. Tom is informing me through message that he thinks the sound is messed up. Can you hear us well? Sorry for interrupting you, Hiromi, but to put out that fire as soon as possible. Can you write either in the chat or in Discord to me as you just did, Tom? Just for confirmation that the sound is going. I'll keep talking and I can sing an opera like yeah. Okay, let's check. He can hear me clearly, but he can't hear you, which is a bad thing. We'll sort it out and have Hiromi talk about stuff to check whether their sound is in place.
Okay, so
Hiromi is silent. Tom is typing. Dun 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 dun, and shows waiting there. Could you hear Hiromi laughing at the situation, Tom? Because it would be not ideal to have one of the developers be silent and have just me. Hiromi is at 40% to Tom. We are sorting it out. We are from 0 to 40%.
Okay. Well, I'm maxed out there and there, so I guess I'll just raise my gain on my input and maybe move my mic closer to my face.
Okay, just one last check from Tom. Better. Okay, good enough, I think.
Okay, well.
Okay. Yes, I interrupted you as you were going, Hiromi. Sorry about that.
I mean, apparently I needed to be interrupted because I couldn't see the. I couldn't tell what wasn't working.
Okay. Yes, you were saying that life struck all of us, and that Michele is sick and might possibly leave. I will try not to. The chance is there, but I will try not to.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey is dealing without power, and Monica and Elliot were also going to be here, but both of them also had life explode. So you can see from the background that we planned on 3, but we had originally planned on more, and I'm only in the left speaker. Okay, I know why my audio would only come in through the left speaker. However, that shouldn't be happening, and I don't know how to fix that.
We'll call it good enough. Tech. It happens.
Yeah.
Just as life.
And yay for Elliot. We have Elliot in the chat. And
oh, hello, Elliot. Elliot is also one of our partners in crime for this book, specifically.
Yeah, Elliot did great work. We had a writer run into some serious life stuff, and Elliot ended up taking on 2 of the shards, which is a lot of stuff to do. So, shit. Gain filter and a limiter.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Mythic Shards Kickoff. We're launching the crowdfunding soon. Yay!
Okay. Am I stereo now? I found an option.
Ooh, secret option. In a supplement that only few people get if they back the...
There we go, cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, when I said that I had an idea what was going on, it's because it's one microphone, therefore the signal is mono, because otherwise I would have 2 microphones. And OBS needs to be told if a signal is mono or stereo. So now it knows. And that was easier than putting on a limiter, which is good because, well, no. I should have a limiter on there too, but I don't. I'm just going to try to not talk too loudly.
Oh, this is all sorcery for me because I have 0 dots in technology, so I'm just lucky things are seemingly working out on my end, so I won't speak ill of the gods living inside my PC unless I anger them. That's how I treat technology, alas. Like David, I'm as good as tech as David is, and we're not very good at tech.
Well, Since uh, the tech seems to be working properly now, uh, let's talk about Mythic Shards. So, as folks probably know, we have 5 shards in the book right now. We are gonna have more shards. Excuse me. Well, we hope to have more shards in like a companion book, and we'll get into that a bit. But the shards that are in the book now are after the end, which is Michaela's child, and is all about the post-apocalyptic view and all of the weird stuff that can come out of that. Yeah.
I'll show this thing hanging right now, right next to my PC. I do have this little Vault Boy, so I can prove that I am indeed a fan of post-apocalyptic media deck. Like all geeks, I prove that with loot.
Yeah, no, I mean, loot is a fast way to prove it. If I were still set up in the different room, I would go grab my Vault Boy.
I have it within reach, so it was easier for me than it wasn't prepared. It was just here.
Nice. The second shard we have is Cyber Scion. It is cyberpunk and it is tokusatsu, especially mecha and kaiju. So if you like giant robots punching giant monsters, then you are going to be thrilled. Also,
Why you shouldn't? It's awesome.
Also, my spouse ran over to the other room, so can also prove that I'm about that Fallout life. Farewell to Heroes is our noir, heisty setting, where scions are illegal. So if you're going to try to protect the world, you need to do it carefully and secretly. Otherwise, you might get beat up by the Titan, which is a law enforcement organization. Four Colors is a reference to, like, the title is a reference to four-color printing, which is how comics used to be done, and kind of still are. Basically, it is our tribute to the golden age of comics, which is just glorious, over-the-top fun. Like, it is Scion dialed up to 11. We have Scions in there, like Captain Lightning, a.k.a. Eric Donner. And our fifth in the main book is Space Odyssey, which is similar to Homer's Odyssey, except it's in space. And it's in a part of the universe called the Tenebrium, which is kind of beyond everything, and maybe you can't get home from it. Maybe you can. It's really going to depend on you and your story guide, whether or not you can get home, or even if you want to get home. Heck, maybe you'll be someone who was born and raised in the Tenebrium, and you just want to live there and do all kinds of fun space exploration stuff. You can absolutely do that and have loads of fun. And we're here to help you do just that. It's going to be great. And with that sort of like quick overview, Michaela, why don't you tell us about After the End a bit?
Okay, being the only guest here makes me look really egotistical talking about my chapter. But I'll say that I'll start with a joke because that's how I deal with tension. Is if you know me, for Michele to pick something else than the chapter that would allow me to write about kaiju means I was quite inspired to do so. It was a conversation I had with Hiromi, and I told, no, Hiromi, I think I'll grab this one. Even if there's still big monsters in there, because I am myself, and you cannot have something that touches upon even nuclear power a bit without having giant monsters, because as the king of monsters taught us, there's a metaphor going in there. But after the end is the post-apocalyptic Scion chapter, Scion Shard rather, and it starts with the premise that every single apocalypse that was conceived in either folklore, mythology, or even the human imagination happened all at the same time. Because if all myths are true, which is an important and beloved Scion axiom, that means that all the ends of the world are also true. So they all happened, and surprise, surprise, everyone died in there. Not everyone, as in the people, but as in the gods and the Titan. Perhaps we leave the option there to because story potential is always a good thing. Perhaps not everyone is dead, but there's no one active in the overworld. They are either dead, or they're missing, or they're trapped. The fact is that there's no gods or titans anymore, and the world is pretty much dead, reduced to cinders, and the sea is evaporated. Because if you add apocalypse upon apocalypse upon apocalypse, you don't end with a world in a good state. And that's after that end. And you get your Scion Shard that draws inspiration from all the greats of the genre. I think that Mad Max and Fallout are rather obvious. There's others that I love a lot, like Swan Song. There's a bit of the Dark Tower from Stephen King, because I am also a King fan, and those who know Dark Tower know how well it can fit such a post-apocalyptic shard. And speaking of Stephen King, there's a little bit of uh, we have it translated in The Shadow of the Scorpion, but that's not the title. And I can't recall it right now. The Stand, yes, sorry, The Stand. It's quite obvious. And also a little bit of shades, especially when you go into what's left of the Terra Incognita, of stuff that goes into the Dark Souls, or the not for made for kids sides of the Adventure Time setting. Those are only inspiration of the post apocalypse that are in there. And I think the heart of the setting of the shard are two things. The more than anything is what I call the race for apotheosis, because either in a literal or metaphorical sense, in the post-apocalyptic genre, you always see characters racing to getting something that could change the world, and through the scarcity and the danger. In some genres, it could be in some example, could be a settlement, could be a source of energy. And yet you or freedom from a patriarchal settlement ruled by Immortan Joe, and the water he holds there. And so you always race towards something. In Scion, I think, and Kim and Hiromi, I'm glad to say they agreed. It made sense for the characters to race toward apotheosis and godhood, and to be among the first to have the potential to try to change the dead world first. Now, whether that means rebuilding old pantheons, because you could be a descendant of those pantheons, an incarnate, a reflection or one of those, or building new pantheons because perhaps you have no connection to them, perhaps as a mutant Scion, or as one that wants nothing to do with the past, or even someone that belongs to other pantheons as a connection but would rather start anew. You're racing, and the end game could be the race to the apotheosis. It could be godhood, but I think the heart of the setting is also at hero and demigod level, because there you actually, how to say so, if you're a Scion in a setting so dire, you have the potential to bring the hope a lot in very, very tangible ways. You can be the one that touches. I think one of the first images that appeared in my mind when thinking about after the end, and I wrote it in little tidbits of fiction, was a girl hiding under a sheet of rusted iron where acid rain falls upon her, and she hides in there and she touches the dirt, and she makes appear a little plant out of nowhere through her purviews. So you can change the world a lot in after the end, and people will gather around you, and the legend will grow because you will bring either hope or despair to the lost lands of after the end. And whether you do one or the other also depends on the perspective of who's looking at you. But I think in such a genre, people like Scion become not perhaps more important than in baseline Scion or in other settings, other shards, but become important in a very genre-fitting way. And now I talk a lot, and I'll let Hiromi go on that.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important to sort of explore that concept because in a post-apocalyptic setting, people kind of need hope. They need something to look towards, because if you live in a post nuclear explosions, post Ragnarok, post everything, you don't have a lot of hope. So if you have someone who's trying to be a god, then and trying to sort of uplift where the world is, that's kind of huge. That's a big part, a big potential part of your life. And something in the chat folks are talking about is about the mythic sharks. And fun fact, there are sharks in Mythic Shards. Specifically, there are mutated robot sharks invading New York in 4 colors.
Fitting.
So if you were looking for mythic sharks, there you go. They're in 4 color. And that's as good of a segue as any. So I'll go ahead and pop over to 4 color. And one of the things with each of the shards is that the mechanics change around a little bit. So when you're creating a hero tier character, they are generally or not generally. They are statistically more powerful than heroes in the world. So they get more dots during character creation, and the max dots for attributes and skills is 6 instead of 5. I don't know why I held up 5 fingers, like that's helpful. There we go. There we go.
Hiromi made out of AI with 6 fingers.
So they are just mechanically more powerful, but also there's more stuff that folks can do. And you can kind of see how existing characters have shifted in how they work. Like, if you've seen some of the preview images, there's a picture of a character with this sort of like old school superhero, almost like just lightning bolt tank top, and that's Captain Lightning, aka Eric Donner, and his origin is actually pretty similar to the Juggernauts, except Eric Donner is a lot nicer than the Juggernaut. The idea is that he was fighting in the Western Front of the Great War and found a shard of Mjolnir. And when he touched it, he got infused with the divine power of Thor, which is, similar to finding the gem of Sidorak. But, Mjolnir is something that I think more people are familiar with than the gem of Sidorak, because that's just nerd shit.
Well, it's not much different from how Donald Blake regained his self as Thor in the comics himself. So,
I mean, that's fair.
He found something. Oh, this looks like it's something it's important to touch, and boom, Mjolnir. And suddenly he is blonde and fit and speaks like a Shakespearean actor.
Yeah. Donnie Rhodes is also one of the signature characters, the Society of Justice, not to be which is legally distinct from the Justice Society of America. It's two different organizations that just so happen to have justice and society and superheroes.
You can't copyright words from the dictionary if they are arranged in different ways.
It's true, you can't. Donnie Rhodes is known as Silverheart, and he is the sort of founder / backbone of the Society of Justice. Yukiko Kurumizu is Jetwire, who has sort of kind of a speedster. Like everyone needs a speedster, and Yukiko already kind of had a fast vibe to her. Like everyone else in the signature Scion characters is more punchy, and she's just, I have a sword, I'm just gonna stick you and be done. Sort of the most interesting of the Society of Justice is Amber Phoenix, who is Horus Pharaoh and 南方仙居啊南方居or the well, I mean that's the Vermilion Phoenix, Amber Phoenix, same name, just in Mandarin. Uh, and so the idea is Thor Horus Pharaoh is a scion of Heru, and got infused with the spirits of the Amber Phoenix, and now they're both inhabiting the same body, which
Oh,
is a little bit awkward because, uh, well, for one thing, it's always awkward when someone else is inhabiting your body because, you would like to be in control of what you do, and Horus is not fully in control of what he does anymore. Uh, and also because the Vermilion Bird is a woman, so there's this sort of tension in control of who is sort of calling the shots and how the body is being expressed.
Ooh, it's also I know these characters. It's the first time I hear about them because as a writer, it's also really cool because Horus is a scion of Eru, and the Vermilion Bird is a being from Chinese mythology. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also cool. Ooh, very
Yeah,
spicy.
yeah, mixing the streams a little bit, or mixing the shards, if you will.
Well, in the world that can happen. Everyone lives in the same world.
And rounding out the Society of Justice is Lady Grimm, who is Brigitte Delacroix, who, like in the main Scion shard, her father is Baron Samedi, but in this shard, her maternal grandfather is Apep. And Apep is the shard's big bad. Apep is the equivalent of Thanos or Darkseid, which means that she has dramatic tension within herself, as well as she is a former supervillain. So she used to do bad things, and she has reformed. But, maybe not everyone has forgiven her. That's kind of up to how story guides want to run the shard. Four Colors is also just sort of full of all sorts of different settings for you to work with, like the fictional nation of Colcheria, which is not Latveria. It's not run by Doctor Doom. It's run by Duke Octaris, the sixth. Any similarity between Duke Octaris and Doctor Doom is purely coincidental.
For all the Disney lawyers listening to us in live
Yes,
at this very moment.
yes. Don't sue us, Disney. Also, you shouldn't, because that's not like.
Yeah, and we can't discount all the Doctor Doom tributes or inspired characters that happen through the ages. Because, for example, I think Darth Vader is one. So,
Yeah.
to quote one, I remember recalling that at least a tiny bit of inspiration for Darth Vader comes from Victor and his whole Iron Mask thing. And I'm burned behind this and all that.
I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the provocatively named Stabbing Alley, which is a neighborhood in Inner Metro City. And
To cross with your parents as you exit from the theater, I guess.
Yeah, there's strangely a lot of theaters in Stabbing Alley. So if you want to save a kid and
If
their
you want a
parents,
dramatic backstory.
or if you are a kid and you need a dramatic backstory, Stabbing Alley is the place to go.
Okay, very nice.
We also have Spirit Laboratories, which of course is an acronym. I don't think we've defined what the acronym is for, but that's fine.
That can happen later.
Yeah, and
Once Chris Claremont takes over or something like that.
look, if Chris Claremont wants a shard, I'll give Chris Claremont a shard.
Hey Chris, can you run a 4 colors campaign for us live on Twitch? Sure. I'll just make them kiss and hate each other. Perfect. Don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. There's I was about to say that that's enough of the fun settings within 4 colors, but I just scrolled down to Asteroid X. Asteroid X is OPEP's headquarters, and it's a giant moon, which is also a gargantuan fortress with armories, laboratories, and mystic research repositories. It is where OPEP keeps all of his stuff. So if you want to fight OPEP, you have to go to Asteroid X or wait for him to come down to Earth and fight him there. Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun for players and probably not much fun for bystanders who get caught in the crossfire. But I mean, that's always kind of the case.
Oh well, that's so cool. I never mentioned them because I'm afraid always to cross a line. But I also created a bunch of locations and characters for my shard, and I can wait for people to see them and hearing about what happens in the other shards, such as these example you mentioned. It's so cool.
Yeah. Probably don't have too long to wait for backers to get to see all sorts of cool stuff and learn about all the cool stuff that you made.
Oh, right. There's the risk that I'm the opener of ceremonies in there in a sort kind of way. Okay, that's no pressure at all. Okay.
It's chapter 1.
It's chapter 1. Yes, I just realized. Woo! Okay.
It's okay. The chapter is awesome. So people will love it. Hopping back up into alphabetical order, we've got Cyber Scion. The idea behind Cyber Scion is that there's this strange substance that people have discovered called ambrosia, which scientists can harness and develop new technologies for. And one of those technologies is divine machines, which are mecha. They're giant robots. And these giant robots come in a few different sizes. We have... sorry, let me pull back a little bit. The idea with this shard is that Scions aren't people who are divinely inspired and empowered. They are people who have special abilities that allow them to pilot divine machines. And the divine machines are the ones who will come in hero, demigod, and god sizes, with hero class divine machines being like size of a truck, and demigods being demigod class divine machines being more like a bus, and god class divine machines being size of a neighborhood or an aircraft carrier. They are huge, and can launch heroes and demigods. There are powers that you can get in Cyber Scion that will allow you to just say, okay, well, actually, I have a god class divine titan or a divine machine backing me up, and they're just going to squish you now. I'm tired of you and your crap. But which you can't do a lot, but it's super satisfying you can do it. And could be a very clutch thing to pull off. One of the neat things with divine machines is that because mecha are supposed to be more durable than actual people, and even actual scions, they don't have the injury conditions. Like, instead of having bruised, injured, and crap, what's the third one? Maimed? I'll look it up later. It's just health boxes. Good, I did get it right. Cool, thank you. I usually don't end up in maimed, so I don't remember. You don't try to run that close to the edge. But divine machines, by default, have 8 health, which means they can take a beating. Additionally, they have their attack pools. You specialize in either range or close, and that means that you have a big bonus that goes into those. The idea is that even if you don't specialize in combat, you should have, like, you're in a giant robot, you should be able to fight. Like, it's just natural. Giant robots should fight, or rather, should be able to fight. If you want to do other things besides fighting with your giant robots, that's totally fine and highly encouraged.
But as someone who enjoys a lot kaiju media, and also giant robot media because they're sort of kindred, your giant robot sometimes is built to help creating palaces, bridges, and all that, but it will be there to punch when something arises from the sea and goes no water, no matter what.
Yeah.
It's the purpose of the giant robot, to punch something big.
Yeah, I mean, you could be working as a construction robot, and when it comes time to it, just lay out a kaiju.
I mean, I love kaiju more than I love giant robots, but the Godzilla series does have Jaguar and Mecha Godzilla, so I can't despise at all giant robots. I do enjoy them as well. And you'll find all of that range in our shard here.
So what's the question of do pilots have powers of their own? And not exactly. So we went back and forth on whether or not they should have powers, and we ended up settling on the idea that if we had 2 sources of powers, then it would be possible to have kind of a mismatch if you wanted to ramp up quickly. So like if you had a near character creation, a near hero, an early hero character, and you needed to ramp up and have a big battle where you're in a demigod class divine machine, then your abilities wouldn't work. They wouldn't scale properly. So pretty much everything is coming from the divine machines. That said, someone else was asking if there are social divine machines, and yes. So like each of the callings is represented. It's got what the submodules, which are very similar to knacks, usually a little bit more powerful than a knack. And actually, let me retract some of what I said. So some of the submodules can be used by the pilots themselves. And I think that's just the general ones. I think all of the calling specific modules are supposed to be used inside of the divine machine. But you have things like what is lover? There we go. So one of the submodules for lover is called What's Yours Is Mine. And you choose someone with whom you have a bond. When they spend momentum, you might either gain an equivalent a number of dice to a similar action, or you may activate a submodule with a similar cost on your turn. So if someone spends momentum to add 2 dice to an encouraged behavior action, you can add 2 dice to another intrigue action. So that's very much just making social interactions better, which is fun. Like you can be a giant robot and still social people. Like there's no restriction there. In fact, being a giant robot makes it harder to argue with you. Not impossible. Some people are still gonna like try and metaphorically get in a giant robot's face. That's a thing that happens. It's not a great idea, but it happens. And naturally, with Cyber Scion, like most or probably even all of the shards, we have Titans. And in this case, Titans is an acronym for 6 megacorps, which have survived and sort of eaten all of the other corporations in the world. They have all of the power. They're more powerful than nations, and they're kind of hoarding material for themselves. And if you would like to take power back, if you would like to take resources and give it to the people, well, you should. It's highly encouraged.
As always. What?
Be in a Thor class mech divine machine and smash a corporate headquarters with a hammer the size of a bus. And then take their technology and share it with the people so that they can have cheaper, healthier food. It's It's the Scion thing to do. I think we're scheduled for 10:30. Well, 10:30 my time. I think 1:30 Eastern time. So I think we have enough time for us to get through all the shards at this pace.
We have around 30 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think so, yes. It also works with my, stuff to do. Because it's getting late and soon will be time to eat. But I'll stick around happily to chat some more.
I appreciate that.
No problem. I'm having a blast.
Oh, good. So, Chapter 3 is Farewell to Heroes, which is our noir setting. It's our grim setting. It is where things have gone wrong. And gone wrong in a way that is distinct from after the end.
Which isn't exactly super cheery by premise, yes, I admit.
Yeah, it being noir means that ambiguity, uncertainty are kind of like those are kind of like big through lines. It's also a matter of the Heracles incident has happened in this shard, and it is kind of left. The specifics have kind of been left to individual games, but the short answer is that a whole lot of supernatural violence happened because of the gods and Scions and Titans, and now no one trusts Scions. No one trusts the divinely empowered because they are at least partially responsible for just huge amounts of violence and death. And so Titan, the transnational initiative to analyze and naturalize, has come out, and Titan is an international law enforcement agency which is all about containing Scions and limiting the danger that they can cause. Basically, they're anti-Scion cops, which means that if you do superhero stuff, you're gonna run afoul of them at some point. So you're gonna want to keep things secret and be a little stealthier than normal, because you don't want to get beat up and sent to jail. That'd be bad. And it also means that if you've been doing superhero Scion stuff, if you've been helping people out, you're probably a fugitive from the law, which brings in its own sort of genre, which is also connected to noir. Fugitive tales are a big part of noir, and trying to do the right thing on the wrong side of the law is also a long-standing aspect of the noir genre. So that is sort of Farewell to Heroes in a nutshell. And the thing is that they do have an entire branch made up of empowered people, which includes Saints, Denizens, Titan Spawn, and Titanic Scions. They're not officially acknowledged. Titan doesn't say that they have these kinds of characters on their payroll, and would absolutely deny it if you told them or you tried to reveal it in public. but they do have them.
It's a really interesting shard because it is absolutely inspired by noir and the noir genre, and going everything from Raymond Chandler onward and backwards. But it also combines that with inspirations such as we always say, because it's true, Days of Future Past, and there's a bit of Watchmen in there as well,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. It's a very nice combination made. Each shard isn't verbatim a pastiche or something. It's taking inspiration to make a shard, but each works for Scion. We don't we don't make Scion fit the shards idea. We make the shard ideas fit Scion, and I think that's a very great result that happened to the direction that Kim and Hiromi gave us, and also uh, I think that as writers we also organically saw that as the right way to go. At least it was for me personally. I didn't want to make a parody of Mad Max in Scion. I wanted to make a Scion post-apocalyptic option there. And in Farewell to Heroes, it's very nice and unique combination of things that works that are put together to fit the Scion mold. And now that I stopped interrupting you, I'll let you go again.
No, I mean it's good to interject that. And I think someone asked in the Onyx Path Discord either today or yesterday if heirs would be would work, like heirs and denizens and other saints and all those good stuff, how they would work with the shards, or if there were any shards that were incompatible. I'll tell you right now, heirs are a perfect fit for Farewell to Heroes because they're already operating underneath the radar.
Yeah.
Like this is already their jam for the Scions. For Scions who have been used to being able to operate in the open and do their thing, lift cars off of orphans and whatnot, to suddenly be slapped with law enforcement, that's a new problem for them. For heirs, nah, that's always been right there in the forefront of their mind. So if you wanted to be an heir or a denizen or a sorcerer, you could absolutely run them, especially with Farewell to Heroes. But the other shards, they work fairly well as well.
Yeah, I can say that because I operate by Lilo Stitch ideas, that family is always no one is left behind. I can say that in After the End, I put some sprinkles of what saints, and then I love the evidence to that, so I wouldn't left them out. And also, perhaps dragons are there. Perhaps your players won't know, but if you dig deep in the setting secrets of After the End, you'll see what dragons are up to. Um, Back to the crowdfunding to know, but you can totally use everyone in After the End. I can speak for myself on that.
Yeah. One of the new mechanics for Farewell to Heroes is schemes, which are similar to operations for heirs, but they're a little bit smaller and more focused. So it could be breaking a Scion out of a holding cell. It could be infiltrating Titan to erase some video recordings. It might be infiltrating a specific Titan operative's office to punch him in the face and say "screw you."
Always valid.
It's always valid. And it's essentially just another form of complex action. So you're trying to achieve milestones in order to pull off whatever sort of level of scheme you're working on. And there's a variety of milestones that you can be trying to achieve, like finding the location or talking your way in, bypassing detection wards, all that good stuff. So if you like spy stuff, especially noir style spy stuff, where you're skirting the law or outright defying the law in order to do the right thing, then you are in luck here. And because I don't want to forget, I need to pull up Kim's video, because along with all of the other scheduling difficulties we had, Kim is my co-developer for Mythic Shards. She can't be here right now because she's on a ship, and I'll let her talk about the rest of it.
Hi guys, it's me. I'm Kim Godwin. I am the co-developer of Scion Mythic Shards, and this is my first book development project for Onyx Path, as well as for TTRPGs in general. And it's been a great time being mentored by Hiromi as we've been working on the project, and then collaborating with all of the authors in putting this book together. And it's been an experience. It's especially being I'm in the Navy, and I'm currently out to sea. Not at the moment when I'm recording this. I'm actually in Thailand, so time zones and then lining everything up. So I'm really sad I can't be there live with you guys, but for the kickoff. But I'm really excited that this project is finally here, so we can share it with you all. Hiromi and I split the work, so we both have touched and all of the chapters, and there's just so much here, and I really hope that through this campaign we can unlock more shards of to include. It really reminds me of when I worked on the They Came From, the RPG anthology, except this one isn't really a send up. This is taking on these fun genres and taking and applying Scion to it. So I really hope you guys enjoy the project and all of the goodies that are going to be unlocked, hopefully. It's really fun to be here, and I don't know, it's crazy. I never thought that, like 4 years ago, when I was working on my second graduate degree, and then when Matthew Dawkins sent me the message saying, hey, would you be interested in working on a TTRPG book, that I would be here developing them. So it's been wild watching like other people's actual plays, and then I'm working with them, and I am developing books with them, and sometimes I'm the writer for them as they're developing another book. So it's certainly a wild ride, and I'm really glad that we get to share it. I have a particular love for all of these genres. It's really hard to pick a favorite. I grew up a big comic nerd, so I absolutely loved working on Four Colors. I really love the Mad Max movies and the post-apocalyptic genre. I love noir films. I love cyberpunk, and I definitely love space, science fiction and space operas, because that's what I worked on for the They Came From anthology. But yeah, all of these are a joy to work on, and I hope you guys enjoy it too and you back the project. So until I see you guys again, bye.
Okay, is awesome.
Thanks, Dixie. I muted my mic so that no one heard me, well, being silent during Kim's video, but uh, it doesn't help if I don't remember to unmute myself. Yeah, Kim's great. Working with her and co-developing and sort of showing her the ropes of development has been pretty great.
Is the crowdfunding live right now, or I'm early?
I believe it starts at a half hour after we end.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I had originally predicted that it was going to go live at noon, and so I scheduled this stream accordingly. And I was off by 2 hours, which, considering that I made the prediction like a month ago, not bad. No one told me what time or day it was going live. I just made a very educated guess.
Which, as your guesses usually are, was correct, basically.
Yeah.
Hiromi, I'll say, is rarely wrong, but I never saw Hiromi being actually wrong. I assume it's rarely because Hiromi will be wrong sometimes, but I never witnessed that happen.
It totally happens. But yeah, I try and limit it.
Yeah. Relatable. Okay.
So the fifth shard of
Yeah.
the book itself is Space Odyssey, which is our space opera, and it is just a joy. So it sorry, scrolling in the document a bit to make sure that I get all of the inspirations correct, because there are a lot of inspirations for each of the shards, and so Space Odyssey is very much inspired by Star Trek, the original series, as well as Strange New Worlds, but also because it takes place inside the Tenebrium, which is this sort of like own weird part of the universe that is hard to get into and much harder to get out of. It is also inspired by Farscape, because, hey, that's kind of the plot of Farscape. As well as Star Trek Voyager. But there's also some comedy and fun. So there's also a little bit of Red Dwarf. There's a bit of Andromeda, some Firefly, some Mobile Suit Gundam, and depending on how much you interact with denizens and try and make things work, is also a bit of Babylon 5 and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Yes, Lost in Space. I don't think we specifically referenced Lost in Space, but I mean, depending on how you engage with the shard, you could be literally lost in space. So it's hard for us to say that that's not an inspiration.
Well, Lost in Space certainly took from the Odyssey itself, so it's all circling back.
Yeah. And we're also borrowing from the Odyssey because the the idea is very much that it is a mythic world. It's a mythic shard, but it's not the mythic shard that you know of, at least not right now. So, like, there are fox people, there are bull people, there are all of these kinds of people who live there, the Tenebriums, including hey, I talked long enough to scroll to it. Perfect. There's the Capriums, which are small insectoid bipeds with thick beetle-like wings. There's Labyrinthians, who look very much like Minotaurs. And they're from a pocket dimension known as the Labyrinth. Does that mean that they are just like the Minotaurs that we are already familiar with? Maybe, maybe not.
Fate is weird.
Yeah. So, like, if you approach it with the idea that it's just like the myths that you're familiar with, you could be making grievous social mistakes. But you also have the opportunity to learn and to explore, make new friends. There are lumivores who are humanoids with long serpentine bodies instead of legs. And they can eat radiation, which means that they're culture experimented with nuclear power, and a little recklessly. But, you know, just remember to take your radiation drugs when you're shaking their hands, and you'll be fine. There's also another radiation-eating species is the Fen, who are lupine, so wolf-like. The Mercurians look like the Aesir's dwarves, and they come in every dark shade. Namazoans are an amphibious species who are quite tall, generally 7 feet tall. The Ankarans, who are bipedal jaguars, or at least resemble bipedal jaguars. This would seem to tie them to the Aztecs, but again, if you make a one-to-one connection, you're probably going to offend them in some way. So you should be careful with how you're interacting with them. Sirmiids are fiber optic nymphs made of wire, cable, and cord, which is just a really cool concept.
That's delightfully Elliot, I'll say. And no, I know Elliot is listening to this.
Oh yeah, no, Elliot had so much fun making cool stuff. There are the Unconquerables, who are living stone, and this ties back to the Incas. There's the Volpari, who are fox-like bipeds. Again, if you assume that they are just like Kitsune or Hulijin, you might have a problem. But if you know about those and you interact with them, you can sort of stay on top of things. So knowledge of the mythic doesn't. What if Kitsune were Vulcan? Yes. What if Kitsune were Vulcan? And wrapping up the Tenebriums that we have write-ups for, other Tenebrium exist, are the Yagans, who are the long-limbed folk of the forest world of Vel, and they have psionic abilities, which means that any place that where psionics would be helpful, they exist and have fun. So investigators, counselors, advocates, they, I mean, can you imagine having a telepathic counselor? I hope so, because there was one on the Next Generation for however many years, plus, in Picard. Spoilers if you haven't watched too far into Picard. So, Space Odyssey has a great deal of fun for you to explore. And you have sort of two basic options with how you want to approach your campaign there. You can have it where you are trying to get back, where you got stranded in the Tenebrium and are trying to get home, in which case you are in for the Odyssey, because it's not going to be easy to get back home. It's not going to be easy to get back to Earth, but you are more than welcome to make the attempt and to succeed eventually. But you could also just have fun in the Tenebrium itself, doing exploration and trading and diplomacy. I just listed off like 10-ish different cultures that exist within the Tenebrium, and there are dozens more. So if you want to create, or if your story guide wants to create more cultures to explore and to talk to, then that is always an option. And sort of all of the traditional space opera themes and tropes are available to you. So if you want to have a god that's actually an energy being, but kind of also a god who's being a jerk to people of a planet, and you want to fix that problem, that's immediately an option. You can do that. You can have that story. You can tell that tale and have a lot of fun with it. There's just gobs of fun that you can have with it. The sort of special mechanics for Space Odyssey is that your ship is basically a character. So you have the band as usual, but you also have a ship that you are all aboard. If you really want to, you can each have your own ship, but that adds sort of complex overhead and makes it harder for you to talk and hang out together. So it's a little bit more challenging if you each have your own ship, but there's nothing saying that you can't each have your own ship. You totally can. The sort of special things that you can do with ships is that these ships don't have to be sleek spaceships like we usually see in sci-fi. This is still very much a myth inspired setting, which means if you want to set out on a giant Viking longship that just so happens to be able to survive in space, you can do that. That's totally an option. You can just do it. No one's telling you that you can't. If you want to have a ship that's part myth, part science, so you have like a wooden hull, but you also have all kinds of rad titanium and fiber, or not fiber optic. Damn it. Blanking on the material. Anyway. Some rad polymer that you can sort of lay over top. You can have that. Like that's just baked into the setting. In fact, I think we'll see illustrations that depict something very similar to that during the campaign. I'm pretty sure I had that in this pass of art notes. And I've got 5 more minutes, so I also want to get into Journey to the Wild Wild West, which is a stretch goal. It is one of 2 shards that are stretch goals. The other one is a mystery for now. But Journey to the Wild Wild West is 1 part Journey to the West, which is Sun Wukong's exploration into Buddhism, and the Wild Wild West, which is gunslingers and fighting outlaws or being an outlaw. So that shard is going to be fantastic and fun as you get into all sorts of wuxia mischief, because you're going to have the sort of beauty of wuxia inspired action, but filtered through the lens of gunfighting. So some of it is like some of the action there is going to be beautiful gunslinging, and some of it is going to be beautiful sword fighting, and it will all sort of knit together. Hydrate. Aha. I'm almost out of water, which is good and bad.
Oh, we're almost done, so even my water will be enough.
Yeah. One of the other stretch goals / add-ons are dice. So I've worked with ChessX to get very specific dice for each shard. So each shard has like a set of D10s that are for it. And so like with after the end, you have these cool yellow and orange sort of like radioactive blasted sand looking dice. For Cyber Scion, you have these translucent green almost glowing sort of techno ambrosia dice for Space Odyssey, you have these purple nebulas that have glow-in-the-dark stars in them. Like if you take the dice, you put them in a bright light, and then take them into a dark room, you see stars in them. Alternatively, hit them with a black light, and you'll just see them glow then. Can I pull up the other dice fast enough? Probably. Oh, Farewell to Heroes, our noir setting, has these shadowy dice that they're not clear, they're not translucent. They are basically they basically have shadows in them. I don't know how to describe them properly aside from saying that they are dice with shadows inside them. And you'll
look
see
like a smoky city under the rain and all that.
yeah.
So it's very
And or four color, we have this very vibrant sort of primary colors, mainly blue dice to go along with them. And so when the Kickstarter goes live, you should either see the dice immediately or very soon thereafter. I know that getting cool D10s is hard for a lot of folks, so us having D10 sets that are picked out specifically for the shards, specifically for Mythic Shards, I think is gonna make a lot of folks happy. It'll make me happy.
I expected you eventually, if they're not there from the start, but as an unlockable add-on, you can add as many as your mistaken choices allow you to make. I know I'll make some. I'll grab at least those for after the end for obvious reasons. Probably more. Depends on how much shame I feel.
Yeah, they look really cool. I think folks are really going to enjoy them. And I believe we're out of time now. So damn it. There, that's the right window. So Mythic Shards, our Backerkit goes live in 29 minutes, and loads of cool stuff for you to check out, to unlock, and to get shipped to you. And Michaela, did you have anything else that you wanted to tell people before we sign off?
Not much. Just to consider backing Mythic Shards if you're a fan of Scion. Whether these shards seems cool to you, and even if they don't, I promise you they are very cool. And also they'll allow you to have tools for each other across the line. You can mix and match, and also for your baseline Scion games, you can play. You'll find in Mythic Shards stuff for your games, no matter what. And if you don't, if you disagree, you can come to Italy and then we'll discuss that with us, World Fight or whatever. But I'm fairly certain that I'm right over that.
Absolutely. So, hope you check the campaign out. It'll be running for 30 days, so plenty of time to check things out and to get hyped about it. And we shall see you throughout the campaign, because we'll
on
have
the Discord and all that. Yes,
yeah,
plenty to discuss.
We have actual plays planned. We've got other streams. We'll have plenty more Scion and Mythic Shards content coming your way in the very near future. And we'll see you later. Have a great rest of your day.